Hello and welcome back to Bold Prediction Wrestling. Welcome to Let's Talk Wrestling with our guest this month, Dazzy Lea from Max Wrestling. How are you, buddy?
AKA the captain. Pretty good. A little less weight to carry now that I've lost the world championship, but you know, it was nice to put somebody over.
Oh, like usually how we start this is we start by talking about you, like how you got into wrestling and that sort of stuff. But before we do all that, I want to ask, like, that cinematic match, where did the idea come from for it?
Do you know what? I've got to give some credit to Travis Walker Anderson, who's one of the regular co-hosts of mine. So we do these promo specials every couple of months. We've also got tournaments twice a year, but it's going to be 3 times a year next year. One of them's King of the Mic, and in the second, King of the Mic last year, Travis had a match against his best friend Corey, aka Cypher. And because they live so close together, he decided to do the promos at the same time with each other, and they didn't have a match. They both got a promo, and then there was like a stunner and a chair shot and some chops to the chest, which resulted in Travis bleeding the hard way. So then I thought, well, if they can do it, me and Phoenix live in the same town. And I'd already had the idea of having a promo exhibition with Phoenix because he was pretty new to promos at the time. Well, in the style that we do them anyway. In the old days, we just used to do audio. So I wanted to sort of give him a rub because he was still kind of finding his feet. And then originally it was just supposed to be that, a promo exhibition. But then as we got closer to it, I was given the world championship. He became promo champion. Then I had the idea for the cinematic match just to make it special. So it just started as an idea for a promo exhibition, and it snowballed into something bigger and bigger and bigger. Like almost every month, something bigger came along. To the point where it got to January and he's promo champion and I'm world champion, and I'm thinking, great, so now we're going to have to put the titles on the line as well. It makes more sense now to do a cinematic match than it did before. So it pretty much just snowballed.
That's quite cool, that.
And the Shape character has always been sort of mysterious and mystical anyway, so it was perfect for that character.
So the Shape character, that's your like alter ego sort of thing when it comes to the promos.
It's kind of, everybody kind of knows it's me, but I don't really allude to it. Whenever I'm talking about the Shape on the show, I'll refer to him in third person, like I just did. But yeah, everybody kind of knows that I'm the Shape, and the idea behind the Shape was always to make other people look good. So the first time the character came out, it was against Mike Larkin, who had just lost a promo title, and he was kind of doubting himself, didn't really want to carry on with promos. So I thought of doing something to lift his spirits back up. So I came up with this character, challenged him to the first ever promo exhibition, because before that, everyone was competitive and there was a vote for every match. But I thought, what if we just did an exhibition of promos? No winner, no loser, just put your talents on display. So it brought the best out of Mike, reignited his passion for promos. Then the Demoness is somebody everybody loves. And obviously I had to have a match with the Demoness. So there was that. Then I had Travis, who had just lost the promo title as well. Then I went against Moses, who won the promo title the same day.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, the Shape has always been just, I think in the original promo, one of the lines was, treat me like a punch bag, just use me for whatever, to cut your best lines.
I don't think I could, like, that's the one avenue I couldn't go down, is like the promo part of it. I don't know, they just like tear into each other, don't they?
They do, but I mean, everyone in the promo order is friends. So like everybody gets along. Most of the time, it's all in a spirit of competition. We've had a couple of instances where people have got either too carried away or things have got too personal, and there's been like genuine heat, and I've had to come in and say, right, cancel that match, or just we'll find somebody else or whatever. But there hasn't really been any drama for almost a year now since
you called it the
shift.
Promo order.
Yes.
So how many people are in there? What's all that about? Like,
that's basically the group of everybody who competes in promo competitions on the show. There's, I think, maybe 14
how do you like? So is there a promo match on every show? How do they like?
Every special there is.
Right.
So originally in the old days of Max Wrestling, which feels so long ago now, 6 years ago, we used to do trivia every week, and the loser would then have to cut an instant promo on a wrestler that was just randomized. So one that I mentioned, well, I replayed in full last week because it's one of my favorites, was Evan McCabe, who used to be a regular. He he lost the knowledge and had to cut a promo instantly on what turned out to be Michael Cole. And the reason for the promo was Michael Cole stole his car. And it turned out to be one of the funniest promos I've ever heard. But then it changed. We kind of cut down on the trivia because we stopped having guests regularly. So it just kind of became every week Phoenix versus Mike, Mike versus this guy. So we cut down on it and just reserved it for the specials. And then that's when we introduced the Knowledge Championship. So we have trivia bouts at every special event. We have one in line with the big 4 pay-per-views in WWE. So this podcast promo Rumble, promo Mania, which we just had, this promo Slam in August, and then promo series in November. But we also do trivia Takeover in June, which is kind of the only one that's not in line with a WWE pay-per-view. But that changes next year because we move it to May, so it's in line with Double or Nothing, just so that we can include AEW into it.
That's quite cool, actually. So, I am in Trivia Takeover, guys, just so you all know. This year, I am in it.
Where we rip off the Chase.
It's just a blatant rip off of the Chase. Like, it sounds brilliant. I can't wait. So you had Promo Rumble and Promo Mania. And the next one's Promo Slam, you said, in the summer?
Trivia Takeover, then Promo Slam.
Yeah. So leading into Promo Slam, like how, not necessarily what's the story, but like how do the matches come about, sort of thing? Do people tell you who wants to be in it and then you make a draw?
This is where the tournaments kind of come into it. So the Rumble's a bit unique because whoever the champions are get to choose their own challenges. Promo Mania, we usually
is that just for all the championships?
Knowledge in the promo, yeah. Predictions is obviously for whatever pay-per-view's coming up. Obviously, the world title is a bit different now. Again, they choose their own challenger. The knowledge is usually just whoever we can find. That's pretty much the same for every special, really. But the knowledge in the world, they can choose their own challenges. Promo Mania, we kind of discuss who would have the best match. Or it usually works out pretty different every year, really, for Promo Mania. This past year, Mike had challenged Moses to an exhibition the year before. And then as we got to November, Moses won the promo title. So we were heading into it thinking Mike's managed to get himself a title match a year in advance without realizing he was going to be facing the champion. But then Moses lost to Phoenix. So all those plans changed. And Phoenix ended up with me in the cinematic match. The year before that, I think there was just a call out. And that was the first. Yeah, so we've only had the promo title on the line. No, actually, last year there was a number 1 contendership. The year before that, there was a call out. So it kind of works different every year with Promo Mania. Takeover is obviously where we rip off the Chase, which is a lot of fun. And again, we just kind of determine who we think should face the Promo or World Champion. But then in July, we have the King of the Mic tournament. So that's 8 people cutting promos, King of the Ring style knockout, and the winner goes on to Promo Slam. And this year they'll be able to choose whether they want to face the Promo or the World Champion. Then after Promo Slam, we have the Promo Bowl, which is a bit like King of the Mic, except where you have like the first round and the semifinals and the final. Promo Bowl is like that, but there's 3 different sections, and then the 3 winners all end up going for championships at Promo Series.
That's quite cool.
So last year we had a Fatal 4-Way. This year we're changing it to, again, rip stuff off. Kind of Feast or Fired style that TNA used to do. So there'll be 3 winners. 2 of them will have a briefcase for a title shot. 1 will have a 6-month promo ban. but with an
Ooh.
option to challenge a knowledge champion.
Is the Knowledge Championship defended on every special you do as well?
Yes, all the championships are on the line at every special.
Okay.
So it's every
And
3 or 4 months.
with like the King of the Mic and that, who like, so say it was me and you in the first round and we did a promo on each other, who would then decide who won?
So it's changed over the years from public vote to judges. But the judges kind of drew a little bit of criticism from people in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And originally I wasn't a judge, but I ended up being one, and I didn't want to be.
Mm-hmm.
For that exact reason. I didn't want to cause any rift between people. So we changed it back to just public vote for everything now.
Okay. And that's a lot of this is done on your Facebook page, isn't it? Which obviously I'll put in the description.
Yeah. Well, on the Max Wrestling Facebook group.
Yeah, that's the one.
Last year at Promo Series, we did a vote on Twitter as well. Because there was 4 people involved, we just had to get as many votes as we could.
Yeah.
But I think it's just going to be like Facebook votes from now on.
Okay. Well, your Facebook, your YouTube, and your website, maxwrestling.net.
And website votes, yeah.
They'll all be
maxwrestling.net.
They'll all be in the description if anyone wants to check it out. I did have more questions, but they've gone. So you said 6 years. So what got you into it originally?
Originally, there was me and Phoenix doing like just for fun an online like e-magazine, Max Wrestling magazine. That started in 2013, and it drew the interest of who I call my sensei in the promo world, Kenny Killer, who at the time was doing the Sunday Segway Wrestling podcast. He asked me to come on, and obviously I'd never done it before. It wasn't really my thing, so I said, yeah, thanks for the invitation. Really appreciate it. It's not really something I've done before, though, so I'll maybe take a rain check on it, but if you want, advertise Sunday Segway in the magazine. Just, just so it wasn't a straight up, nah, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't really feel confident enough to do it. And then a couple of weeks later, I just said, you know what? To hell with it. So I got back in touch with him and said, yeah, if the invitation's still open, we'll come on. So me and Phoenix did Sunday Segway. And immediately from the first episode, I got the bug. So I just said to Phoenix, do you fancy starting a podcast of our own, maybe? And I hate listening to the first few episodes because we're so amateur and it just sounds so awkward. But I think the thing I've always told people with podcasts that get into it is the more you do it, the more you get used to it and kind of find your flow. And now it's just like second nature.
Because like straight away, this podcast wouldn't even be a thing, I don't think, without Max Wrestling. Like, because obviously we met because we worked together, and then I found out that you had a podcast and that, and I listened to it. And it's like, I'd really love to do a podcast, but I didn't really have anyone to do one with. And then obviously Ryan and Ryan, my co-hosts, they approached me and they were like, "Listen, we want to do a podcast joining." I was like, "Yes, definitely." But again, we're only at the point this video goes up, we'll only be about 20 podcasts in. But it's like we've already come so far. Like you start off so amateur, and I can guarantee in 20 episodes time, I'll look back at these and be like, "Oh my God, that was so bad." But I feel like we're always improving. And it's John Moxley was on Renee's podcast and he said, "You've just got to start somewhere. If you haven't got the best equipment or whatever, you've just got to start. If you don't start, you won't get anywhere." So it's like, Joe, we'll just start it and see where it goes. So how many weekly? Sorry.
Having a good network helps. So like, I think we got to episode 20 and we did 4 specials in 2015 in our first year where everyone on the show had to go a promo.
Okay.
And I think it may have been episode 20. I think one of them, or anyway, we had like 12 people on the show.
Wow.
And it wasn't even as chaotic as it sounds. It was pretty organized and everybody cut a promo, and it was just crazy to think we had that many people on so early. It was only a couple of months in.
That does sound like, a lot. Like that was episode 20. What episode are you on now? Well, so obviously we've recorded this a few weeks in advance to when it actually goes live. So as of right now, what episode are you on?
At the time of recording, we've just done episode 316. Hell yeah. Right before Promo Mania. So probably by the time this goes out, we're probably on episode 320.
320, 321-ish.
Yeah.
You're 300 episodes ahead of the one that you just spoke about. Like, did you see it going on this long?
I never really saw an endpoint, and even now I don't really see an endpoint. I'll just probably keep going until I get bored of it. There was a time last year where I almost called it quits.
Okay.
With a lot of personal stuff going on within the group. That was handled, and everybody was like, "Nope, you're not retiring." Especially because we've got this close to 300 episodes. We've got a special coming up in 2 weeks. We're not letting you quit.
That was Trivia Takeover last year, wasn't it? Was it
Yeah,
not?
so it literally 2 weeks before Trivia Takeover, I think it was. I put a video up in RWT, which is kind of like our sister group, run by the Kingpin, where I basically retired and said I can't do this anymore. There's too much personal issues going on. And yeah, so Mike got in touch, and Travis and Moses said, we don't really want to end it like that, because the last episode we did, if anybody listened to it, they not see any problems, and next week there'd be no episode and nobody would know why, unless they're close to us. So I said, well, okay, if you want to do one last episode and everybody's asking me to reconsider, so I'll let you do this one last episode. Just do it ambiguously, treat it like it could be the last episode or it might not be, and I'll make my decision next week. So they did the episode, sent it to me to produce, because obviously I'm the producer of the show as well as the host. Put it up, and honestly, before I even got the show, I kind of thought, well, maybe it's not the end. So everybody else kind of dealt with the personal issue that was going on and convinced me to come back. So yeah, we did Trivia Takeover, and still going strong.
It's amazing. Like, that's like almost a year ago now. You had that big thing, and since then you've had like no issues. The shift.
We call it the shift because it was a shift in personnel, but also when we revamped it after Trivia Takeover, I just found a theme song that was called The Shift. That was perfect. So okay, we're calling this the Shift era.
So how many episodes, if you remember, how many episodes do you not appear on? So I assume you've appeared on most of them. Is that the only one?
Like, that one where I was gonna quit was the only one I've never appeared on.
That's mad. 320 episodes.
Yeah, and it drove me nuts because I always had this perfect attendance record. And then I was looking at the appearances and the episodes, and it was always one short, and it really annoyed me. So we do the Maxies Awards every year.
Yes.
Which used to be the last episode of the year, regardless, whatever date it was. And last year I decided to do the Maxies on a separate day, which is something we've never done before. The specials always take place on the regular weekday that we do the show. So it's kind of like how takeovers used to be. It was just the same day as NXT.
Yeah, Stand and Deliver did it. They got one obviously on the Wednesday instead of NXT. So
yeah, obviously because there's so much going on WrestleMania week. So I said we're going to do the Maxies on a Sunday. So one, it's unique. It's on its own day. Nothing. It's not been done before. And two, I can treat it as a separate. It's like not technically an episode of Max Wrestling, so I can treat it as a new appearance, and then I'm level with appearances.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant.
Cheated.
It's fine. You know, missing one out of 320. That's still very impressive.
It's probably always going to bug me, but it was unavoidable.
You've got a new championship as well. Is it the Contributions Championship?
It's kind of based on contribution. There's the group MVP.
Okay. So
I actually told Mia the Kingpin first, because in RWT they used to do this top 10 contributors list every month. And I always cracked the top 5, but I never actually got to the number 1. But we've had more interaction on Max Wrestling the past 6 months or so than we usually do. So I thought it was a perfect time to introduce it, which is basically I can't win it, Mike can't win it, Travis and Moses can't win it because we're the 4 Max Horsemen. So we're all the admins of the group. So everybody else in the group that posts, their contributions get counted by Facebook themselves. So I don't even have to do anything. Facebook counts it for me. So all I have to do is check at the end of the month, right before a special event. So Promo Mania was April 8th. So the first champion was technically crowned March 31st, but we didn't announce it until Promo Mania. So yeah, it's I don't even know how the algorithm works, because it's not based just on the most posts. It's also comments and
Comments, likes, and
reactions.
stuff. Okay. Well, so how often are you? How often, not you personally, how often are you going to defend that? Like, how often is it going to be? Is it going to be changed every month or every special?
Not every month, every special.
Every special, yeah. So you're looking at 5 times a year, your 4 specials, and then takeover.
Yeah, 5 or
That's
6.
That's fair enough. So how, on average, so you're the main host. Who else is on there
Yes.
weekly with you?
Weekly there's Mike Larkin.
Yeah.
Who is he is the second. I think now he's the second longest appearances.
Okay.
If not, he's very close to it, overtaking the old associate. Yeah. So there's Mike, Travis, and Moses started last year, so they're regulars. Phoenix, we always count because he was a co-founder, so he's a Max Wrestling original.
Mm-hmm.
But he stopped being a regular in 2017, I think.
Okay.
Mainly because he works nights, and we record at 12 p.m. on a Thursday, so he gets in at 7, 8 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got two choices. He can either stay up, record the show, and then go to sleep, or he can take a little bit of a nap, and probably miss his alarm, which he did quite a lot. So he stopped being a regular, and now he comes on every now and then, mostly at specials, because knowledge title is his thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only, might be a spoiler, unless Mike or Daniel Crimmins wins it. Unless Mike wins at Promo Mania, or did win, Phoenix is the only 3-time knowledge champion.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But Mike is, he went on the ultimate Brock Lesnar reign with a knowledge title. The first one was 1 day short of a year, which he hates me saying. He always wants to round it up to 365. Yeah. His second reign, I can't remember how long it was, but combined, it's like 928. Unless
Bruno Sammartino
now it's going on. Yeah, he was just unbeatable.
That's mad.
Which is ironic, because the event he lost it on was Podcast Promo Rumble 3, and on the poster I put nobody was ready for Larkin, and then he lost it.
That's brilliant.
I think I jinxed it. Sorry, Mike.
So how, obviously now the Knowledge Championship is defended differently to how it was. So
yeah,
talk to me a bit about that.
Kind of differently. It depends on the event, really, or how much time we've got. But usually there's different rounds, special rounds, like game show rounds kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And there's been so many different ones over the years, but usually Promo Mania, we just do 10 questions, general knowledge, keep it simple. If we've got so much to get through, like this past Promo Mania, we had 2 knowledge title matches plus 3 promo matches to get through, mm-hmm. plus predictions. So it depends really on how much time we've got, how many challenges there are. But yeah, there's different rounds, or it's just 10 questions, or of course Trivia Takeover is unique because we basically turn the whole thing into the chase.
So who writes the questions now? Is that you?
Me. Mike co-wrote the questions for a while, but then he started competing again. So actually, it was coming up to Promo Mania, and he's just messaging me saying, "How many questions do you need for Phoenix and Crimmins?" And I said, "None, because you're facing the winner, so it's kind of a conflict of interest."
Oh, no way.
Oh yeah, fair enough. So yeah, it's just me to write the questions again now.
And it used to be both of you, or it used to be everybody wrote their own questions for the other person, or how was it?
Well, when it comes to the Iron Bank, whoever the champion is has to have 10 questions prepared, because they don't know when the cash-in's coming. And whoever's got the Iron Bank will write 10 questions for whoever the champion is. So whenever there's a cash-in, I just sit back and let them clash and ask each other their 10 questions.
So whoever's champion has to have 10 questions ready for whenever it may be.
Yeah, just in case.
So at Promo Mania, obviously, it's a bit of a pain that we're recording this before, but there's a match for the briefcase, right? There's 2 briefcases, is there?
There's 1 briefcase.
Yeah.
That's on what is our pre-show, the pre-launch show.
Okay.
Every year at Promo Mania. And the winner can cash in. It used to be on just a Knowledge Champion, but this year it's Knowledge or Promo.
Okay. So how do you get the briefcase?
That's done through trivia as well on the pre-launch show. We aim to have 3 or 4 people compete for it, and then it's just whatever rounds I come up with through trivia, and the winner, of course, is determined head-to-head.
And then, like you said, you can catch that at any time during the year, and that could be on any weekly episode either. It doesn't just have to be a special.
Yeah, anytime. I mean, they'll probably give me like a week's notice.
Yeah, they'll tell you obviously, but they won't tell the opponent. Do they not tell the opponent until like they're just, oh yeah, you defended it right now?
Well, only once really. It's been cashing on a weekly show. It was Kinney, but of course he had the unfortunate luck of cashing in on Mike during his unbeatable reign. Actually, Phoenix and Kinney were the first Iron Bank winners, and they both cashed in on Mike during the same reign, and Mike beat them both. But Phoenix told him in advance, so they had the match at the following Promo Mania, I think.
Right.
Kenny cashed in a couple of months later on a weekly show, and then Mike won it and didn't say anything until we got to the Rumble and said he was going to cash in on Phoenix at Promo Mania.
No
so
way.
We'll see whoever. Obviously, at this point in time, I don't know who's won the 2021 Iron Bank, but whenever they decide to cash in, they can do it on a special, a weekly, whenever.
That is amazing, honestly. Like, what's your favorite championship out of them all?
Honestly, because I don't really have to do anything in the promo.
Yeah.
When it comes to knowledge, I have to have the questions ready. But the promo title has brought out so many gimmicks and characters from the Demoness, who nobody knew what to expect when she first joined because she was just Nicola.
Okay.
And then she came out with this sort of, I want to say Rosemary inspired gimmick, and everybody just went, "What the hell is this? This is awesome."
I've got to ask, right? And all I want from you is a yes or no question, right? Okay. Yes, no answer. Nicola.
Yeah.
It's not the one I know.
No.
Right. Okay. That's fine. I was going to say, right. Sorry. Carry on with what you were saying.
So yeah, she introduced this gimmick, and everybody just sort of was like blown away because nobody knew what to expect. It was just, okay, we got a girl in the tournament for one thing.
Yeah.
She starts cutting these promos as like this undead demonic character. So I came up with I will take credit for it. I came up with a nickname, the Demoness. And that's pretty much all she's known as, a Demoness, and everybody loved her. She has only lost once to Mike.
Wow.
And she just quickly rose up to become promo champion at last year's Promo Mania.
Wow. What's good is
she's the longest reigning.
Oh, really? That how long was it she held it for?
200 something. I think 238 sounds about right.
It's good that, like, if anyone wants to like check out these stats, they can just go on maxwrestling.net, is it?
Yeah.
And, all the stats are there, descriptions about the championships, what they actually look like. It's all like on there.
Yeah, that's something it's pretty much a hobby, just building and designing this website, and all the stats were just like listed in plain text, and I found out how to embed spreadsheets onto it to make it so much easier.
Nice. Is there anything else you want to talk about Max Wrestling, or are we good to talk about like you and your interest in wrestling? If there's nothing you can think of, we can obviously come back to it during this next part.
I think we've covered everything. Like we're changing things around a little bit next year. So King of the Mic is going to be in February, and the winner goes on to basically so that we can bring back the promo league in the summer, which is what we tried to do last year, but that's when the personal stuff started. So we scrapped the league and brought back King of the Mic. So next year we're in a stable place. Next year we're bringing back King of the Mic, moving King of the Mic to February. The winner will go to Promo Mania. Then we're bringing a new special called Clash of Promos.
Okay. Is that in September by any chance?
No, that's going to be July, in between Takeover and Promo Slam. Basically, we're only doing it because we need another special just to keep the title competed for during the league. Otherwise, the league's going to go on and the champion's going to be sitting there from June to August just doing nothing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Watching everybody else cut a promo. So yeah, promo league is going to be in May to August. And it's a little bit different because there's no knockouts or anything, and there's no like structure to who faces who. It's people can call out who they want.
Okay.
If they refuse, they drop down one place, and whoever made the call out automatically goes up one place.
Okay.
The winner goes up one place, the loser goes down one place, and every now and then I'll throw in like special swerve balls, we call them, curve balls. So it'll be like immunity or 2-point move or grant somebody a free move or whatever.
Okay.
Just to keep it interesting. But we didn't actually finish the first league because we scrapped it. But there was, for the whole run, Mia the Kingpin was number 1.
Wow.
And he was so looking forward to facing the Demoness because he's her biggest fan.
Oh, really?
And like a few weeks before Takeover, Moses challenged him because Moses was number 2. Moses won, so they switched places. And Moses challenged the Demoness. And now we only just got the Kingpin versus Demoness this past Promo Mania.
Wow. What? So that's next year. You're talking about restarting that.
Yeah, so that's going to be in the summer, and then of course Promo Bowl September.
So the league, is there like a different promo weekly? You said, or like they call them out weekly, or how often?
Yeah, there's no schedule. It's whenever somebody feels like they want to move up or try to move up.
So you could do it like 7 times a week. You can do one every day, or is that a bit overkill?
Yeah, I guess.
Really?
The whole point is you only compete when you want to compete.
Okay.
And if you don't want to compete, you just lose a place.
And what did the winner of that get?
Promo title shot. This time, I think it's going to be promo title shot at Takeover, world title shot at Clash of Promos, and then they can decide at Promo Slam. There's going to be a cup this year as well for the winner when the tournament actually closes properly.
Okay. I am thinking, I need to think of a milestone, but if we get Bold Prediction Wrestling to a milestone, I will enter that next year.
Okay.
But I need to think of the...
Venturing into promos.
Yeah.
See, it took Phoenix a few years.
Yeah, I'm liking the sound of that, you see, and it gives me time to like develop a character and stuff. But yeah, I like the sound of that. So I'll think of a milestone, and if we hit it, I will join that next year.
All right.
But yeah, talking about you, how did you first get into wrestling?
A little bit of a cliche. I think it was Hulkamania.
Okay.
My cousin, not the Phoenix, another cousin introduced me to. It was like a 10-year-old video of Hulk Hogan. I'm not sure if it was the first one I saw, but the one I remember the most was SummerSlam 89. It was Hogan and Brutus Beefcake versus Macho Man and Zeus.
Okay.
aka Tiny Lister. And we just rewatched that video so many times. Then I discovered modern day wrestling, and I don't even know how I knew it, but I knew the name Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Mm-hmm.
So he was instantly my favorite wrestler when I discovered him. Obviously, it was late 98 going into 99, so he was in the prime of his career.
Not to make you feel old, but I'd have been 2/3 then.
Yeah, I was 8, just turned 9. WrestleMania 15, I probably rewatched the hell out of, which was the first WrestleMania between Rock and Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And that was probably to blame more than Hulkamania. WrestleMania 15, I just rewatched it that many times. I became obsessed. I actually remember the first modern day match that I watched that wasn't a 10-year-old video of Hulk Hogan.
Go on.
Was Triple H and Kane in a steel cage match right before St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Do you know what my first match was? My first modern day match? It was a bloody Ryback squash match.
Oh, wow.
Like, I can't... It was the Go Home Raw for Survivor Series 2011.
Right.
And I think there was a Ryback squash match. I think there was JR and Michael Cole dancing or doing some sort of competition. Oh, it was really weird. Like, but that's what I remember. And it's like, it's mad. Like, I've had such a good match, and I had a Ryback squash match.
Yes. Yeah. So around the time I wasn't watching WWE.
Yeah. What's your favorite moment in wrestling history?
Wow.
Big question.
Yeah, I can probably list 10,
but
I don't know what my favorite would be of them. I mean, anything Austin did
Mhm.
with Vince was classic. There's Triple H's return at Madison Square Garden, where Eddie Guerrero beating Brock was amazing. One of my favorite modern day matches, and it probably still is actually for the last 10 years, is Sami Zayn and Neville for the NXT title, because the build-up was brilliant, the match was great, and they really just pulled you in with like this underdog story and made it feel like a big match and a big moment for Sami Zayn. And then they pulled the trigger immediately with Kevin Owens, which was just an awesome swerve.
Yeah, that I wasn't actually watching. Obviously, it's not live, but I wasn't watching NXT live at the time. I first got into NXT while Kevin Owens was already champion, so I'd literally just missed that. But he'd had I think he had like 4 feuds going on at the same time. He had Cena on the main roster, Sami Zayn, Balor, and Samoa Joe, and I'm just like, this guy's amazing. This guy is amazing.
And originally they let him go as the Kevin Steen that a lot of people knew from Ring of Honor. I mean, he still wasn't quite as vicious as he was in Ring of Honor, but he was a pretty good heel in NXT.
What do you think of modern wrestling? What do you think of it at the moment? You can say like WWE, TNA, and obviously Impact and AEW.
Well, the thing with Impact is they're not afraid to just poke fun at themselves anymore. They know how little people think of them, and they just don't care anymore. They've accepted that they're kind of the Nickelback of wrestling, and they're okay with it, and I'm okay with it. I got back into Impact last summer, and obviously it's still not as good as it used to be, like mid 2000s to just around Hogan and Bischoff coming in. Impact was just the ultimate alternative, and I think if they'd have stayed that course, they may have actually become competition for WWE.
Wow.
But they kind of fought too big and brought in Hogan and Bischoff, and they made all these changes, and decided to go on live tours every week, which they weren't ready to do. They didn't have the money to do it, and especially with them paying Hogan. AEW, I think, is on its way to being what old school wrestling fans like me appreciate more.
Mm-hmm.
But WWE is just, oh man, there's so many bad things about it. I mean, they've always said they're not wrestling, it's entertainment. But even when Mae Young was giving birth to a hand, or Triple H was humping a mannequin in a casket, there was still a damn good portion of actual wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't understand some of the decisions they make. I just can't wait, honestly, for Vince to retire, because Triple H has got his finger on the pulse. He's just not allowed to push the button.
What do you think he will retire?
Most people think he's just going to die in his producer's chair.
Yeah.
It's got to get to the point now where he's really getting old. He's pushing 80, I think, and he can't do it forever.
Mm-hmm.
He's either going to get too slow, or I mean, not to be horrible, but not really remember what's going on, maybe.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So what's your favorite show at the moment? AEW.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that they've stopped the Wednesday Night War, because for me, it was never a case of I prefer this show over that show. I love NXT and Dynamite equally, but because we record on Thursdays, I always had to watch them side by side. So I'd have Dynamite on the TV and then NXT on my big ass monitor for the computer. And luckily, I've got selective hearing, so I would have the volume sort of equal, and I'd listen to whatever piqued my interest.
I really couldn't do that.
Yeah. I mean, there was stuff I'd miss. I will be honest.
Because you always do that. You stay up every Wednesday night, and you watch them both.
Every Wednesday, definitely. When it comes to Raw, sometimes if I can't be bothered, I'll watch it the next day. There's no rush for it.
When it comes to
same with SmackDown.
When it comes to Wednesday nights, for me, it's always been a case of I'll watch it the next day. And we're recording this on a Thursday. It's now about 4:30. and I've still not watched NXT. I'm still halfway through because I've got to watch AEW first because we review that over NXT because one of the Ryans don't really watch NXT, so it's a case of, well, there's no point reviewing it. I always make AEW first. I stayed up once to watch AEW, and it was the Brody Lee tribute show. That was the first time I actually stayed up and watched it. And going through Twitter, it's all NXT spoilers. I'm just like, I really don't care at this point. And when they had all the Dusty Cup stuff, I was like, I really can't wait for this to end. NXT was just dragging then for me.
Do you know what? I've never really been a fan of the Dusty tournament. Mm-hmm. I mean, I like the idea behind it, and obviously, paying tribute to Dusty, but most of the time it was just random people thrown together in tag teams.
It really bothers me when you look at like the winners.
Like I think what was the first one? Balor and Joe. And then they ended up feuding for the title.
Yeah.
Or they were feuding for the title or something like that.
It was Balor and Joe. I can't remember who won the second year. I'll have a look, but it was someone won the second year. I think the third year was AOP. I think that was the third. Let me have a look. Dusty.
Also, when I think of Dusty Rhodes, I don't think of tag teams. I think of him as like NWA heavyweight champion. So I didn't really get right. It was a tournament.
Yeah, I was kind of the same. I was thinking like, why is that? Okay, yeah. So the first one was Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, which were two people put together, right? Second one were AOP. Okay, fair enough. Tag team. Fair enough. You can't really argue with that. Yeah. Do you remember who they beat?
I know it was an actual tag team, an established tag team.
Was it TM61?
Yes. One of whom became Slapnuts, aka Slapjack in Retribution, Shane Thorne. I think the other one got released. And I can't even remember his name.
Was it Sabatelli? Or was that someone different?
No, he was with somebody else, yeah. I can't remember who else was in TM61.
So yeah, the third team that won with the Undisputed Era, who weren't even in the tournament.
Yeah.
They got added to the match, they weren't even in the match. The fourth team that won, Aleister Black and Ricochet, two people put together. The Broserweights, two people put together. And then obviously this year you had MSK who debuted in the Cup.
Yeah,
but
that one made sense.
Yeah, but you've only had two proper tag teams who have ran the Cup, win it out of 5 times, and it's like,
yeah.
Don't know how I feel about that. So who's your favorite wrestler right now?
Ooh. I mean, it'll always be Stone Cold, but it's changed. Current wrestlers changed over the years. It's gone from like Seth Rollins to, well, obviously, if CM Punk was still around, it'd probably still be CM Punk. Probably Daniel Bryan.
Really?
Yeah. Like I'm in the minority of people who aren't really upset that he got added to the WrestleMania main event.
No, I'm not.
I think he's storyline more interesting.
Do you think he stands a chance of winning though?
At this point, honestly, we talked about it on Max just before this show. All along, I thought, well, yeah, Edge is going to beat Roman. But when you insert Daniel Bryan into it, you actually think, well, hang on. Maybe they are going to swerve Edge and give it to Daniel Bryan.
I think Roman walks out champ. And I've thought that since Edge won.
I think that would piss a lot more people off than Daniel Bryan being added to the match.
Yeah, and me. But I think there's so much more you could do with Roman. Like, there's some...
Yeah.
He's fought Jimmy Uso, Kevin Owens, and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
In, 6 months?
Kevin Owens and Daniel Bryan multiple times.
Exactly. And Jimmy Uso multiple times. And it's like, there's so much more talent on SmackDown that I think you can have Roman pin Bryan and then carry on Roman being champion, facing, I don't know, Cesaro. Nakamura still wants to go at him from getting cost before the Rumble. Obviously, you've got Rollins, which I'd like to see because obviously they've got different characters now.
Well, that's where I thought they were going with it because obviously there was no chance of Jay joining forces with him because he was, a good guy and he was rebelling against his dictator cousin.
Yeah.
So I thought it was good. It was going to be beat up Jay, beat up Jimmy, and then maybe when Seth Rollins comes back, he'll be treated like a brother and he'll, stand up for the Usos. But yeah, they pulled the trigger really quickly on Jay joining forces with him, so there was nowhere else to go really.
Yeah, it was a bit. What do you think of Jimmy Uso in that in the position he's in? Is it which one
Jay.
is it? Is it Jay? Is it?
Yeah,
There
Jay.
we go.
Jimmy's the one that keeps getting arrested.
So what do you think about Jay, like by Roman's side in this character?
Honestly, he's like the annoying sidekick. Like whenever Daniel Bryan, especially, is like face to face with Roman cutting a promo, and then he'll say something, and Jay will just snatch the mic and just go crazy on him. It's like, all right, calm down.
Can't really say that any differently. To be fair, how much wrestling do you watch weekly? Obviously, you've said most of it.
Yeah, everything. Like there was a time when I was watching NWA for a few weeks, when then they stopped. They only did a few episodes. I mean, I used to kind of watch a little bit of New Japan, but like a lot of people, I kind of lost interest when, I mean, not their fault, but a lot of the American stars that they have came back over. Like Omega and the Bucks went to AEW, which I think would have been fine, except New Japan kind of cut ties with them and said, well, you can't do both companies.
Wow.
It's either us or AEW. So, you know, I mean, it's okay for them to build the company around Japanese stars. I mean, they are a Japanese company. It's just, there was also a lot of decisions I didn't like Kota Ibushi maybe still is the heavyweight champion at this point, but I thought he should have won it the year before and won it off Omega, but they didn't do it. And that kind of annoyed me. Then they gave it to Jay White, who was a really fast riser in Japan, became a big star really quickly, but they took the title off him really quickly as well. And that annoyed me. So they just made a few decisions I didn't really appreciate very much. So I kind of stopped watching New Japan as well.
What about NXT UK?
Yeah, I did start watching it, but again, it's on a Thursday, and you know, by the time I've done the show and everything, I just can't be bothered with watching more wrestling.
Yeah, for me, it is like, because we record ours Thursday evenings at usually 8:00, so it's like we're recording while it's on. So there's been a couple of episodes when I've like had it on my phone and I'm sort of like paying attention to it a little bit. Like, it's difficult.
Mike and Moses watch it more than I do.
Wow.
And they're like, but it's in the UK. Why are you not watching it? And I just can't be bothered.
I don't think it's bad, but I don't think a lot of UK people do watch it. I don't know anybody that watches it.
I think you really have to be a hardcore indie fan to appreciate it, because a lot of them are from the independent circuit.
I don't know a lot of them. I really don't. But then I'm getting to know them through NXT UK.
Yeah, it helps when they showcase them on the US NXT. Like Pete Dunne made a huge name for himself straight away because they had the tournament final, I think, on NXT US.
Okay.
Did they? I think they did. And then he made a couple of appearances on the US version before he moved over.
Yeah.
Walter's making a few appearances. So if they keep doing crossovers like that, they may get more eyes on the product.
Kaylee Ray's another one. She's been in a War Games match, and it's like...
Well, luckily I knew Kaylee Ray before that, only because she was in Impact's British Boot Camp.
Okay.
And when I used to go to Impact every year when they did the UK tour, met all the British Boot Camp stars, met Kaylee Ray. When I still had the TNA World Title replica before I sold it, I literally only sold it so I could buy the big gold World Heavyweight title. But she wanted to hold it, so she picked it up and was like, Jesus, it's heavier than the real ones.
No way. But yeah, it's a shame. Like, when we get crowds and that again, I really want to go to an NXT, whether it be NXT UK taping or a big NXT UK takeover. I do want to go and actually be in the crowd. I just miss being in crowds, mate. It's been so long.
Yeah.
So you say you've been to a few TNA shows. Which one's your favorite you've been to, or favorite wrestling show in general that you've been to?
To be honest, I've only really been to the Impact ones, but I went to 6 of them, I think, in a row.
Okay.
And I always managed to get pretty close. The first one I went to was a house show, and we were like in the middle somewhere on the floor, so that wasn't too bad. It was only a house show, but then every year after that was a TV taping. And we tried to get as close as we could. So I think one year we were second row, then we were third row, and then third again. So yeah, honestly, I don't know what my favorite one is. Like, There was one where I met Hulk Hogan, which at the time felt huge, but now it's kind of like, met Hulk Hogan. There was some really good ones. I think maybe 2012 might have been my favorite one.
Okay.
But that's also one of my favorite years of TNA in general.
Were you watching WWE at that point? Or were you just getting back into it then?
Yeah, I was just getting back into it. CM Punk was on the rise when I first got back into WWE.
So I've got 2 questions left for you. First one, what's your favorite match of all time?
Damn, again, it's a hard one.
Name a few if you have to.
There's definitely Rock and Austin, which I've watched countless times. I will always agree Shawn Michaels and Undertaker were just 5-star classics. Definitely love Kenny Omega and Okada's hour-long war.
Is that the 7-star match?
Which I think Dave Meltzer gave 7 stars, yeah. There's so many. I will always say, one of the most underrated pay-per-views was Fully Loaded 99.
Okay.
Because the main event was Undertaker and Stone Cold in a first blood match. And if Undertaker won, Stone Cold would never challenge for the world title again. And if Stone Cold won, Vince would leave WWE. Which he did, but obviously he came back.
Yeah.
But all night on Sunday Night Heat, which they used to do before the pay-per-views, like an hour before, Undertaker had busted Stone Cold open. So it was like 3 hours before our first blood match and Austin's bleeding. And then all night long, Austin's patched up and he's looking for the Undertaker, and he finally catches up with him halfway through the night and makes him bleed. But it was just great how they kept you hooked on that storyline all night long.
It's not often you get a story leading through a whole show anymore, is it?
No, very rarely. I think I pointed out the last time it happened was a long, long time ago. And then they finally did the same thing with Lashley and The Miz a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
But they kept it going all night.
I was backing that up. I said I really liked that. You kick off the show with it, and then every hour you've got them coming out, and like Miz has been Miz, and it made sense, and it made the show feel better because it's a 3-hour show, and you're filling 4 segments with the same people, but it makes sense. So you're not filling it with rubbish or putting matches on too long, and it kept you interested. It kept you saying, "Are we going to get this match? Are we?" Final question. Is it a question? At the end of every interview that we do, we get someone to give us a bold prediction.
Okay.
I want your bold prediction for, it could be the rest of the year, it could be the next month, SummerSlam, it could be anything.
Ooh, okay.
And I don't want to hear CM Punk returns because we've already had that.
We actually said that on Max earlier when MJF got thrown into a Pepsi vending machine. CM Punk's coming back.
Right. Someone said something. I really can't think of what it was. Someone said something, and I was like, "Oh, that's it. Punk's coming back."
Yeah. Jeez. It's hard to predict with WWE because so many
don't even know what they're going to do.
So much changes at the last minute.
Yeah.
I mean, even AEW is getting even less predictable. So
I was going to say, even if you wanted, predict who you think, because obviously we're recording this before Mania, predict who you think is going to hold, who's going to win the men's and women's Money in the Bank matches.
Oh, okay. Well, I am pretty certain Rhea Ripley's going to beat Asuka.
Okay.
Just to make up for the shittery last year.
Do you think Charlotte gets added to that match?
I really hope not.
I really hope not to.
Really, really hope not. But now you mentioned Charlotte, I wouldn't be surprised if she does come back and win Money in the Bank.
I can see that happening. Because she hasn't done that yet, has she?
No. As far as the men's, maybe somebody from NXT, because there's always call-ups after WrestleMania.
What about Damian Priest?
Adam Cole.
Adam Cole?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's good.
I don't know about Damian Priest because they've kind of lost interest in him even the last couple of weeks. It's just been all about Bad Bunny.
They're giving Bad Bunny a match over him.
Bold prediction, Bad Bunny's WWE champion.
Don't, because
No, hell no.
He's going to win the big gold. They give it to anybody. Would you be against Edge winning Money in the Bank?
No.
Say he can't get it done at Mania. Roman's like, you've had your chance, forget that. And then Edge goes another way to try and do it.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. And of course, Edge is the original winner. So kind of full circle. As far as a bold prediction, I still haven't come up with one. I'm thinking the only thing I can think of is Becky Lynch or Ronda Rousey, like a big comeback for the women's division.
When do you think that? Like you say, Money in the Bank?
Because I keep saying it and I'm always wrong. Like Elimination Chamber when they still advertised Asuka as defending the title and
the
it
pre-show.
never happened.
I was so annoyed about that.
I was like, okay, well the main event's not going to be an hour long, so what? The women's title must be on last. What are they going to do? Nothing. Yeah. The show's 20 minutes short.
Because it was, we had it at the Rumble. It was like, oh, Becky Lynch is going to return at the Rumble. She's going to win it. Then it was like, she's going to come back. I know. Then it's like, she's going to come back at the Elimination Chamber. She's going to come back at Mania. The other thing we had that with, the Fiend's going to come back at Rumble. The Fiend's going to come back at the Elimination Chamber. The Fiend's going to come.
They kept that going way too long because they had no idea how to stretch it to WrestleMania.
I know. And now they've got 3 weeks between Fastlane and Mania, and it's like,
awful.
But thank you for jumping on. I'll put all your links. You get them sent over. I'll stick them all in the description and whatever.
Yeah.
But I need to think of an accolade to get to, a milestone. When I get to it, what do you reckon?
We're on episode 20 now. No. Well, Promo League is next year, so you'll pass 100 episodes by then.
Mm-hmm. We're hoping to do one every week.
Yeah.
So obviously we won't ever be catching you up because
that's not 80 weeks away. Actually, I don't think it would be episode 100.
No, because 100 would be like just under 2 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be there then.
First anniversary?
Potentially, yeah.
Which would be, when would that be?
It would be just after Christmas, before New Year. So perfect.
Yes.
Great. There we go then. But yeah, thank you for being on. Thank you everyone for watching this. Make sure you check out Daz and Max Wrestling because they've been going for 6 years, so they can't be that bad, can they? They can't be that bad. But
and we're mostly international.
Sorry?
We're mostly international. Most of our associates are American, but if you look at our Facebook views, they're in the thousands, and so many of them are in India.
Yeah, it's weird that, isn't it?
Wrestling's huge in India.
Do you think you'll get the Great Khali on at any point?
I mean, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, anything's possible. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you all next time.